And starting on February 14th, the government has been implementing a preliminary ban on the use of disposable goods like paper cups, paper plates, as well as chopsticks at wedding halls, as well as funeral homes. And this law will go into effect starting in May, and this is being met with some mixed reactions. And Simon O joins us for this story. Good morning.
Good morning, you guys. Now, critics of this measure are saying that it's little more than a bureaucratic measure that's not really taking into account the constraints of reality. But supporters do argue that perhaps this is exactly the kind of strong measure that's needed in order to cut down on the rampant use of disposable goods in our society. Now, of course, it goes without saying that we should cut down on the use of these products, but perhaps a better place to begin our consideration is to think about why they've become so indispensable in the first place. So this week, I've taken a look at these disposable goods, so convenient for us and so detrimental to the environment. Here's more.
A ban on disposable products at funeral halls is to take place in May. While some are against this new policy, it does get people thinking about disposable goods. At an office in Seoul, the day usually begins with a sweet cup of instant coffee in a paper cup. Throughout the day, workers crowd around the water dispenser with paper cups. Most of the products they buy, either during breaks or while they pull late hours at night, all come packaged in disposable material. All this was used by just 5 office workers in a single day, showing how accustomed we've become to disposable goods.
It's inconvenient when the food is served on regular plates because it has to be cleaned after we're done eating. It's actually more convenient when they come on disposable plates because we can just throw them away.
Around 500,000 tons of waste is generated per day on average in Korea. Some 40% of that is paper. It's not hard to identify where a lot of that comes from. In fact, you might even have one in your hand right now. It is paper cups.
I think I use paper cups the most. I use about 5 paper cups at the office per day and about 2 more at coffee shops.
Per day? At least 3 cups, I guess. If I use a cup, I have to keep washing it. It's quite inconvenient. I think there are situations that make recycling difficult when you're working at an office.
Koreans use roughly 250 paper cups a year per person. It is estimated that about 20 billion paper cups were manufactured in Korea last year alone. Countless trees are logged to produce the natural pulp used in paper cups. To make 20 billion of them, 80 million 15-year-old pine trees must be cut down. On top of all this, it's very difficult to recycle paper cups because the inside of a cup is coated with polyethylene. It is a pricey process to get rid of this coating, but if not, the paper cups cannot be recycled. Because of this, only about 14% of all paper cups that make it into the recycling bins are actually recycled.
It should go into different procedure with other waste papers to be recycled. Because the disposable cups are big compared to its weight, the recyclers have to pay a lot of money to collect them across the nation, but the substantial result, the recycled material they get after recycling is just small.
Many people are trying to change the way we think about paper cups. Have you noticed anything special about this place? Everyone here is using a mug, but this coffee shop is doing even more than just that.
아이스로 일회용전 하실 수 있고 텀블러에 하실 수 있는데 텀블러에 하시면 500원 할인해주세요.
When you rent a tumbler for takeouts, instead of paying a deposit, you receive a discount. The shop doesn't insist on returns, but still about 90% of the tumblers come back.
I like the idea they have. We all know how important the environment is to us. It may be inconvenient, but I think this is a level of inconvenience we can certainly live with. It feels good to be able to participate.
Destruction of the environment not only affects our generation but continues on to the next. I thought that we should do something now, even if it's something small. We use disposable goods without giving it much thought. I wanted to change the way people think about it by renting out tumblers.
There is also a company that has successfully developed an eco-friendly paper cup aimed at solving the recycling problem. This is a paper cup manufacturing company, and while these paper cups look like any other, they're made with a special eco-friendly technology. Specifically, it's an eco-friendly coating designed to increase the rate of paper cup recycling. The coating dissolves in alkaline water, which means it does not require the complex steps to peel it off. These paper cups also biodegrade more quickly compared to regular ones. These efforts to create eco-friendly coatings have already been recognized in Korea, and this year they're awaiting an approval on an international patent.
Korea imports 100% of the pulp used to produce paper cups. Increased recycling of paper cups can reduce not only the pulp import, but also logging, thereby protecting the environment. Making eco-friendly paper cups is a global environmental issue, but is also the most difficult task. But I thought it's an environmental problem that needs to be solved.
Many are under the misconception that all paper cups or any paper materials, they are either disposable and they do get recycled, but the recycle rate remains under 15%. But on a side note, I did read a report that paper cups can be harmful to your health.
Right, that's something you should take with a grain of salt. Now, normally for beverages like hot coffee or tea, paper cups are perfectly safe. But on the other hand, there's a different matter when you're using paper cups to heat up greasy foods in your microwave oven. This can actually raise temperatures to above 105 or 110 degrees Celsius, in which case the polyethylene, which is used to coat paper cups, that can melt and enter your system. And of course, that's something you want to avoid.
There's the coating.
Right. So these coffee shops, as well as the government, are making efforts to cut down on the usage of disposable goods. What are some of the tangible steps that they're taking?
Well, back in 2003, there was a deposit system where, you may remember this actually, where consumers were asked to pay about 101 deposit for paper cups at fast food restaurants or coffee shops. Now, that system was actually discontinued in 2008. The National Assembly is now considering whether they should re-implement that system. There is, of course, a global effort going on right now to cut down on the use of disposable products. Korea, of course, is a part of that movement. The Ministry of Environment last year reached an agreement with some 18 Korean fast food and coffee chains, and their aim is to reduce the use of disposable products by 22% year on year until 2020. Now, in this program, some shops would offer incentives for customers to bring their own cups or tumblers, such as offering discounts or perhaps vouchers for gifts.
Yeah, I did my share by buying a tumbler last year, remember? And I was so adamant to bringing my tumbler everywhere I go, but then I forget. And it's,
Well, but, you know, all
hard.
of
It's
us at
easier
Korea
said than
today
done.
use this mug, so that helps also.
Sometimes that makes all the difference. Just using your own mug or tumbler can actually have a major impact on the environment.
Of course,
That's right. Save those trees. All right. Thank you, Simon, for
Thanks,
this
guys.
story.
Thank you very much.